In today's video, I'm gonna show you how to make $10,000 a month selling cars.
Danny Klein with the Elliott Group. I have no limit!
Guys, welcome back to another video. It's your boy Danny Klein, and we're gonna get right into it on how I made my first $100,000 selling cars at 19 years old. I'm gonna guess at this point in time, if you're watching this video, you're into the car business, you're in sales, and you're trying to figure out how to either increase your income, either how to make an additional 100,000, or maybe make your first 100,000. So the very first tip I want you guys to write down is plan your day in advance. The biggest thing I see with salespeople is they don't plan their day. They don't understand what they're gonna do in the morning, what they're gonna do before their appointments. They don't know what dials they're gonna have. They don't know what cars are on the lot. They don't know anything, and they're walking in and they're just straight winging it, and they're not actually planning how to be successful. $120,000 a year isn't pocket change. $10,000 a month is money that can change your life, and it changed mine. It can change yours too. So number one, I want you to plan your day the night before, not the morning of, the night before. Number two is gonna be your inventory walk. This is something that I took to a whole nother level. My managers always said, know your inventory. The person that knows their inventory will make the most money. So I put it on steroids. What I would do is I would come into the dealership 30 minutes before the meeting at a minimum, because I needed about a half an hour, get my mind right, throw my pods in, listen to some music, set the tone for the day. But more importantly, while I was doing all that, you know what I was doing? I'd start with the very front end of the corner of the lot. I'd walk all of the used cars, all of the trucks, all the SUVs. I'd look at all the colors. I'd look at the Carfax. I'd look at what the price it was. Did they reduce the price on this one? Miles? Does it have an accident? Listen, sometimes I would do deals and I would tell this one had an accident. I knew this person said, hey, I'm not doing a car deal on something that has an accident. I can switch them without making it weird, without waiting until I, spend an hour at the dealership with them, print out the Carfax, and then realize, oh, this one had an accident. You have to know exactly what's in your inventory so you can be on point. I want you to walk from the used cars to the new cars. Also, I want you to walk the trade-in lot. Cars that came in from trade-ins within the last day or two, you're gonna see back there. Guess what? You can still sell them. Guess what? They can get cleaned up. They can ran through the service shop. They're gonna get warranted. This is what we do. We sell cars. It's okay. Also, you're gonna walk your detail lot. So the cars that are going through the very last thing before they take pictures, you never know what's gonna be the perfect vehicle for that customer. And if you don't know what you have, you can't sell it. And you definitely can't sell it with the sizzle, because if it's a stock image on the website, no good, no bueno. So number two, know your inventory, do your inventory walk, and do it with intention. Just check for everything. If you treated the inventory and everything like it was yours and it was your money spent on the cars, you would do the walk with intention. You know everything about every car. Number three, lot, service, and phones. These are the three areas where you're gonna make your money, where leads are gonna come through. Let's talk about the lot to begin with. You got walk-ins and you got appointments. You know that people are gonna be walking through every single day, and you're gonna get walk-ups. Know your numbers, know how to greet these people, and learn how to dominate your walk-ins. I see people that throw away walk-ins all day long. They don't collect the names and numbers. They don't do a good job. They don't run them on a 10-step sales process and be very efficient with them. I want you to be efficient with these people. I want you to greet them with a smile, have fun, know your sales process. If you guys don't know the 10 steps of the sale, I would highly recommend just following that basic 10-step process. It's gonna keep you in line, especially for people that are walking in, trying to take control of you. You wanna do a good job, walk them through the process, put them on a test drive, do a write-up, and sell them some cars. Phones, there's two types of phones. So we have inbound leads and we have outbound leads. Inbound leads are leads that are coming into the dealership. These are people ready to buy. It's a warmer lead. Know how to have that conversation. Train on this. These are the topics that you need to put your focus on. Outbound. If you're not deadly at outbound, which is gonna be probably 90% of your day, you're gonna get crushed. That's the bread and butter of this entire training, is knowing your inventory, but also knowing how to make outbound phone calls, being confident, having your script memorized. What's a good baseline for what we should be doing on outbound, you ask, right? Here's what I did. So it was 100 calls or 1 car sold. So I didn't go home until I at least made 100 outbound calls. It could be cold calls, it could be service script, it could be anything high interest. Make those calls. Put in the amount of effort every single day. Or 1 car sold. And if I didn't have time to maybe, hit those calls or maybe get that car sold, I always made sure I had 3 appointments for the next day. Because worst case scenario, I know I can get one of those 3. One of those 3 people is gonna buy if I do my job right. The law of averages, if I do three appointments every single day, I'm gonna get the deals. So how do we even end up at $10,000 a month, right? How do we get that? I hope you're at a dealership that pays a commission. If not, I recommend a dealership that can pay you a good commission. I'm doing math based on about $500 per car, give or take. If you negotiate and train yourself well how to hold gross, you should average at least $500 payable your way on average on about 20 cars. So 20 cars, $500, that's gonna equal $10,000 a month. Now, give or take, your store might be a smaller flat or it might be a bigger flat. I got paid gross, so I got paid up to $2,000 on a car, all the way down to $150. So it averages out. That's how you're gonna get to that $10,000 a month. Next thing that I really wanna drive home, that I wanna circle back on, is service. This is something that nobody talks about. So I talked about lot, I talked about the phones. The third key is service. And the reason I saved this one for last is because everybody wants to skip around it, but it's actually one of the most important things. How many people go through the service station at the dealership every single day? 50, 100, 10 to 20 if you got a little store. Well, how many people do you think got a high bill that they don't want to pay? How many people do you think may want to trade in their car eventually? The average trade cycle is 3 years for a consumer in the United States. I want you to think about that. If you made friends with 10 to 20 people a day, you didn't even high pressure close them, you just made friends, shook hands, got some information, went about your way, that's gonna be almost 3,500 people a year. You're gonna get deals from these people. When you make relationships and you make the right intentions, you're always gonna have people come by. But know your script, know how to have conversations. I'm gonna put the link in the description to the service video I recommend that you watch by my boy Andy Elliott, my mentor, that taught me how to crush it in service. Now you got in person, you also got the phones. You can get a service script from your manager and you can make outbound phone calls on a list through Auto Alert, an equity mining tool, or a next day service list. And you can make outbound phone calls and crush it. The next thing I wanna tell you guys about is training. Without any of this, none of this matters unless you're training for 30 minutes a day, bare minimum. If you're not watching content from me, Andy Elliott, guys that you look up to that have done well in the space, your manager, role playing, somebody that's doing well, you're not gonna make it. You need to learn your top 5 objections in your introduction script in person and on the phone. You have to master those 2 things. Make sure you learn those things, know what you're doing, know what you're saying, so you don't look like a fool when you make those calls. Now I saved the special sauce for last because these are the things I think are really gonna carry you a very long way. This is a good framework of things where you gotta put your mind at. You have to put a lot of training towards these things. I'm not giving you all of the training on how to crush a walk-in. I can make a video on every single one of these topics. This is for your brain to know where are your holes at, go and find those areas, and then go and dominate them. But my special sauce, for me, if you have good energy and you actually care about people and you're authentic, you know what you're doing, you're a professional, people will always come back. Have good energy with your customers. Really care about them. Be authentic. They try to hide the internet price. They try to be really sketchy with the way they sell. Be upfront. Be so good that they're willing to pay more for you with what you deliver than the guy that's cheaper across the street. That's what I did. And I had many situations where people had opportunities to buy the same exact car across the street, but they knew the level of service they got with me, and so they decided to buy with me. I had so many times, if you know that you got people that say, hey, the only reason I bought from you in the dealership is because of you, Danny. You're the only reason I bought today. If you start getting things like that, your customers start telling you that, you know you're doing a good job. Now, the very last tip I wanna give you guys before you go, and I wanna make sure right now if you've gotten some value within this short little training series for you guys on how to make your first $10,000 a month selling cars, I want you guys to like, I want you guys to comment. Please share the video, subscribe. It helps a lot. We're trying to get to our first 1,000 subscribers. I'm putting out content every single week, providing value for you guys. Make sure that you guys are getting everything you need to win in life, and especially in sales. It means a lot for me, from Danny Klein and the Elliott Group to you. Make sure you guys do those things. Last tip I got for you is know your craft, be curious. I see so many people, they think that they know everything and they're not looking on the internet about what's going on, what's happening with interest rates, what are the new cars that are coming in, what's the new model, when's it dropping. Know your industry. Nobody likes somebody that's an amateur that doesn't know the new details. Now, I'm not all about product knowledge, but if you don't know your craft and don't know your stuff, I'm out, I'm good. So be a pro, know your craft, know your industry, know the brand that you sell and everything that you can learn about it. And I promise you, if you follow these rules right here, you make your first $10,000 a month selling cars.